When I was 6 years old and freshly back to the US from Germany, I was enrolled in public school. One day after class, I was in a mostly empty cafeteria building and decided to race my friend to the other side of it, where the exit was. When we started running/racing, I had a Jolly Rancher candy in my mouth and wasn't paying attention. I turned around to see how close my friend was behind me and ended up running into the corner of a cafeteria table. This knocked the wind out of me, but when I attempted to inhale, the candy lodged in my throat and I couldn't breathe. I tried to get my mother's attention as she walked out the door on the other end, but I couldn't make a sound. I got lightheaded from not being able to breathe and began to panic. I remember thinking I was going to fall backwards and how I didn't want to hit my head on the ground, so I tried to stay standing. Child logic, I guess? I fell backwards anyways, feeling oddly disconnected, like I wasn't completely attached to my body anymore, and all sensation felt muted. However, as everything started to fade to black around the edges of my vision, I distinctly felt two large hands catch my back and gently set me down on the ground. I remember being extremely relieved that I didn't hit my head on the floor, though I couldn't see the adult who caught me in time. There's a jump in memory here, like falling asleep and waking up again, because the next thing I'm aware of is being able to breathe again. I remember thinking how good it felt to breathe and how scary it was not being able to. I was aware of the fact that I was sitting cross-legged on a rising platform that I couldn't see. I couldn't see myself either, but I could feel that I was sitting upright and cross-legged in a bright white void that stretched on in every direction for as far as the eye can see. Directly surrounding me and the platform I was sitting on, in the white void, were television screens, at least a dozen or more evenly spaced out. Every screen was filled with black and white static, snow, that was actively making a soft static noise. I thought this was a little strange at the time, but I was also filled with this intense sense of calm, peace, and apathy. Like everything was okay, and I had nothing to worry about or even think about besides how good I felt. The wall-less elevator suddenly stopped rising, and I got this horrible dropping sensation in the pit of my stomach, like when you're on a drop ride or suddenly falling in a dream. I felt like the platform under me vanished, and that tugging sensation pulled me backwards as I fell down and down until I slammed back into my body, immediately sitting upright while coughing and trying to catch my breath. I didn't see my body or anything, but 1 second I was falling, and the next I was sitting up and coughing. My skin felt too tight, and I was woozy and tired, but otherwise fine. I was surrounded by adults, and my mother was there patting me on the back and asking if I was okay now. I remember saying I was fine, but in reality there was this slightly disconnected feeling still present. It's still present at age 35, and a weird mixed feeling of loss and relief. I was informed later that no one caught me when I fell, so the mysterious hands I felt on my back before leaving apparently didn't belong to anyone. According to the adults, I hit the table corner at a dead run, stood there gasping for air, then I collapsed and hit the ground hard enough to bounce. None of the adults knew what to do at the time, so they all just stood there and watched me turn blue. Evidently, my best friend at the time was sent to get my mother, a registered nurse at the time, who was outside already. She came back in with my friend, took one look at my motionless body, and started the Heimlich maneuver. I still don't know what prompted her to do this first, but I can only assume training. The candy came out, but I still wasn't breathing, blue in the face with no heart, beat, etc., so she started CPR. After a couple minutes, my eyes flew open and I gasped for air while coughing and sitting upright. Once I was able to catch my breath, I remember thinking how weird it felt to breathe again when I swore I was already breathing a moment ago. I wasn't, for the record, but I thought I was. After that, we got in the car and went home. I can't recall if it was before or after this event that I developed short-term amnesia, which eventually cleared up and was attributed to atypical seizures, which never repeated. From this point on, I felt disconnected from my family, whom I suddenly realized were extremely irresponsible individuals and probably not the best people to rely upon. I also began having extremely vivid and realistic dreams every night, which never went away. I still have hyper-realistic dreams to this day, in which I can taste, touch, smell, and feel pain or movement with my eyes closed in a dream. From this point on, I've also experienced all sorts of issues with migraines and visual snow and paranormal events. Weird stuff. Thank you for tuning in to today's captivating video. Every story showcased on this channel is either graciously shared by our viewers or carefully curated from the rich archives of ians.org, unless specified otherwise. If you have a personal story you'd love to see featured, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find my email conveniently listed in the video description below. Looking forward to hearing from you.